Let me tell you about Jean. At 72, the sharp mind she'd always been proud of felt like it was slipping away. After a lifetime of memories, familiar names and faces started to blur. A deep fear took hold, a fear passed down through a family history of dementia. It's a quiet dread that settles on many of us as we get older, isn't it? That fear that our memories, our independence, and the very core of who we are could slowly fade. You start to wonder, is this just a normal part of getting older? Is cognitive decline inevitable? For a while, Jean believed it was. She saw herself heading toward a future she didn't want, becoming a burden on the people she loved. But what if that story didn't have to end that way? What if the narrative of decline isn't the only one we can write for ourselves? Jean's story took a turn. She discovered that her fate wasn't sealed by her genetics or her age. Groundbreaking science, like the landmark U.S. Pointer study, is proving that our daily choices have a profound impact on our brain health. In fact, these studies show that a combination of specific lifestyle habits can protect our thinking and memory, even for those at high risk. So Zhang decided to fight back, not with expensive medications, but with simple daily habits. And the results were astonishing. She didn't just stop the decline she feared, she began to feel sharper, clearer, and more vibrant than she had in decades. In this video, we're going to walk you through the exact 7 science-backed habits Zhang adopted. These are actionable, evidence-based strategies you can start using today to protect your most valuable asset, your mind. And the first one might surprise you with just how simple and powerful it is. The first habit Jean embraced was consistent physical exercise. Now, when we hear exercise, it's easy to imagine grueling hours at the gym. But the science tells a different, more accessible story. We're not talking about becoming an elite athlete. We're talking about moving your body with purpose for about 30 minutes on most days. The link between physical activity and brain health is incredibly strong. When you move, you send a rush of oxygen-rich blood to the brain. But it gets even better. Exercise triggers the release of something called BDNF, which is basically fertilizer for your brain cells. It helps new brain cells grow, especially in the hippocampus, the area critical for memory. One study even showed that weight training just twice a week helped protect brain regions vulnerable to Alzheimer's. The U.S. Pointer study made exercise a cornerstone of its program, and the results were clear. It significantly improved cognition for everyone involved. So, how did Jean start? Small. She began with a brisk 15-minute walk after breakfast. Then she added another after dinner. Soon, she was easily hitting the recommended 150 minutes of activity each week. For example, instead of circling the lot for the closest parking spot, she'd park farther away on purpose. Here are some ways you can start today. Find an activity you enjoy. It could be dancing in your living room, vigorous gardening, or swimming. If you love it, you'll stick with it. Schedule it. Treat your movement like an important appointment. Protecting your brain is worth it. Add strength training. You don't need heavy weights. Using resistance bands, carrying groceries, or taking the stairs helps build muscle, which is directly linked to a healthier brain. Break it up. If 30 minutes feels daunting, try 3 10-minute sessions. A short, brisk walk after each meal is just as effective. To recap, habit 1. Find an enjoyable way to move for 150 minutes a week and add strength work twice a week. Moving your body provides the spark for a healthier brain, and what you use to fuel that body is the critical next step. Habit number 2 is to fuel your brain with a mind diet. That brings us to our second habit, changing what's on your plate. For years, Jean had eaten for convenience, not for her brain. Then she discovered the mind diet. It isn't a restrictive plan, it's a way of eating for life, and the science behind it is staggering. The mind diet combines the Mediterranean and DASH diets, with an extra focus on foods that are specifically good for the brain. Studies from Rush University found that people who followed the mind diet closely lowered their risk of Alzheimer's by as much as 53%. But here's the incredible part. Even those who followed it only moderately well still cut their risk by 35%. This shows you don't have to be perfect to get huge benefits. The diet works by fighting inflammation and oxidative stress, which damage our brain cells. Jean felt a little overwhelmed at first, so she focused on simply adding in the good stuff. For instance, a day of eating might look like oatmeal with berries for breakfast, a large spinach salad with grilled chicken for lunch, and a snack of almonds in the afternoon. Here are the 10 brain-healthy food groups to focus on. 1. Green leafy vegetables. At least 6 servings a week. 2. All other vegetables. At least 1 serving a day. 3. Berries. At least 2 servings a week. 4. Nuts. About 5 servings a week. 5. Olive oil. Use it as your main cooking oil. 6. Whole grains. At least 3 servings a day. 7. Fish. At least once a week, especially fatty fish like salmon. 8. Beans. Aim for 4 servings a week. 9. Poultry. 2 servings a week. 10. Wine. 1 glass a day is optional. Just as important is limiting the 5 unhealthy groups: red meat, butter, cheese, sweets, and fried food. John made them the exception, not the rule. To recap, habit 2. Focus on adding the 10 brain-healthy food groups to your meals while reducing the 5 unhealthy ones. Fueling your brain with the right foods sets the stage for it to perform its most important nightly task: cleaning and repairing itself. Habit number 3 is to prioritize high-quality sleep. And that brings us to habit number 3. 1. So many of us neglect getting consistent, high-quality sleep. Jean used to get by on 5 or 6 hours of broken sleep, not realizing she was actively harming her brain. During the day, our brain builds up waste products, including a toxic protein called beta amyloid, which is linked to Alzheimer's. When do we take out the trash? When we sleep. There's a remarkable process called the glymphatic system that acts as the brain's cleaning crew. This system is 10 times more active when we're in deep sleep, flushing out all that metabolic junk. When you skimp on sleep, you're essentially letting that gunk build up. Sleep is also when your brain consolidates memories, making it crucial for learning. Experts recommend 7 to 9 hours of quality sleep a night. At first, this seemed impossible to John. Here are the steps she took. 1. Create a sanctuary. She made her bedroom a cool, dark, quiet, and tech-free zone. The blue light from phones and TVs disrupts melatonin, the hormone that signals sleep. 2. Set a strict schedule. She started going to bed and waking up at the same time every day, even on weekends, to regulate her body's internal clock. 3. Develop a wind-down routine. An hour before bed, she'd dim the lights, take a warm bath, and read a physical book. This signaled to her brain that it was time to power down. 4. Watch what you consume. She avoided caffeine after 2 p.m. and didn't have alcohol right before bed. 5. Address sleep issues. Jean had always snored, so she finally spoke to her doctor and was diagnosed with mild sleep apnea. Getting treatment was a game changer. To recap, habit 3. Aim for 7 to 9 hours of sleep by creating a restful environment and a consistent routine. Once your brain is well rested and running clean, it's ready for its next job: building new strength. Habit number 4 is to challenge your mind in new ways. This leads to habit number 4, which is all about building your cognitive reserve. Think of it as a savings account for your brain. You build this reserve by consistently challenging your mind with new and complex activities. For a long time, John's mental activity was passive. She was on autopilot. But science shows our brains can form new connections our entire lives, as long as we stimulate them. The key is novelty and complexity, doing things that push you just outside your comfort zone. John decided to shake things up, embracing the feeling of being a beginner again. It was like taking her brain to the gym. Here's how you can build your cognitive reserve. 1. Learn something new and complex. Sign up for a class, learn a language with an app, or pick up a musical instrument. Jean chose the ukulele. The combination of reading music and coordinating her fingers was a fantastic mental workout. 2. Switch up your routine. Small changes make a big difference. Try taking a new route on your walk, doing a crossword puzzle, or brushing your teeth with your non-dominant hand. 3. Play strategy games. Games like chess, bridge, or even complex video games are excellent. They engage your planning and decision-making skills. 4. Use targeted brain training apps. While not a magic bullet, some apps can be a useful tool for specific skills like attention and memory. 5. Read widely and deeply. Pick up a book on a topic you know nothing about. Engaging with new ideas is a fantastic way to build new neural pathways. To recap, habit 4. Build your brain's savings account by embracing new and complex challenges that take you out of your comfort zone. And while challenging yourself alone is powerful, combining that mental workout with human connection is a game changer for brain health. Number 5 is to nurture your social connections. That brings us directly to habit 5, which science now realizes is just as crucial as diet and exercise: staying socially active. Humans are wired for connection, and it turns out that chronic loneliness can be as damaging to our health as smoking. For Jean, retirement had slowly led to isolation. Her social circle had shrunk. The scientific evidence is overwhelming. Older adults with frequent positive social interactions have a lower risk of dementia. Socializing isn't just fun, it's a complex mental workout. A simple conversation requires you to listen, process information, and access memories, strengthening neural circuits all over the brain. John knew she had to intentionally rebuild her social life. It felt awkward at first, but the rewards were immediate. She felt the fog lift even more when she spent time with people she cared about. Here are practical ways to strengthen your social connections. 1. Be proactive. Don't wait for others to call you. Pick up the phone and schedule a weekly chat or a coffee date with a friend or family member. 2. Join a group or club. Find a group centered around a hobby you enjoy, like a book club, a local walking group, or a choir. 3. Volunteer. Giving your time to a cause you care about is a powerful way to connect with others and find a new sense of purpose. 4. Take a class. This is a fantastic 2-for-1. You challenge your brain while meeting new people with similar interests. 5. Nurture casual connections. Don't underestimate the power of small daily interactions. Chat with the barista at the coffee shop or say a friendly hello to your neighbors. To recap, habit 5. Proactively seek out and schedule social time, as positive human connection is a powerful, enjoyable workout for your brain. A strong social life also helps manage stress, which directly impacts the system that powers your brain. Habit number 6 is to manage your cardiovascular health. This brings us to the focus of our 6th habit, your cardiovascular health. The saying, "What's good for the heart is good for the brain," is absolutely true. Your brain is a hungry organ, using 20% of your body's oxygen and calories. It depends on a steady, healthy supply of blood delivered through a vast network of vessels. Conditions like high blood pressure, high cholesterol, and diabetes damage those delicate arteries, reducing blood flow and starving the brain. The Sprint Mind study found that aggressively lowering blood pressure in adults over 50 significantly reduced their risk of developing mild cognitive impairment. This showed that controlling your numbers is a direct way to fight cognitive decline. For years, Jan's blood pressure was a little high, but she didn't take it seriously. After learning about the brain-heart connection, she made it a priority. Seeing her blood pressure numbers drop on her home cuff after a week of consistent walks and healthier meals was the ultimate motivation. Here's how you can take control. 1. Know your numbers. Track your blood pressure, cholesterol, and blood sugar levels. A home blood pressure cuff is an excellent tool. 2. Partner with your doctor. If lifestyle changes aren't enough, medication is a crucial tool for protecting your brain's blood supply. 3. Embrace the other habits. The best part is how these habits work together. The mind diet and daily exercise are two of the most powerful ways to improve your heart health. 4. Manage your weight. Even a modest weight loss can have a dramatic, positive impact on your cardiovascular numbers. To recap, habit 6. Protect your brain's power supply by working with your doctor to know and manage your blood pressure, cholesterol, and blood sugar. So far, we've focused on all the powerful things you can add to your life. But protecting your brain is also about what you take away. Habit number 7 is to avoid brain toxins. That brings us to our final, critical habit. Protecting your brain from substances we know are toxic to it, primarily tobacco and excessive alcohol. Let's start with smoking. There's no debate. Smoking is catastrophic for your brain. It constricts blood vessels, starves the brain of oxygen, and increases inflammation, accelerating cognitive decline. The good news? The benefits for your brain begin almost immediately after you quit. Then there's alcohol. While the mind diet may allow for a small glass of wine, the key is moderation. Excessive alcohol is a direct neurotoxin. Large-scale studies found that people who drank very lightly or not at all had the slowest rate of cognitive decline. For Jean, this meant being more mindful. Instead of a glass of wine most nights, she began swapping it for a calming herbal tea, which also helped her sleep routine. Here are the clear, actionable steps. 1. If you smoke, stop. This is the single most important health decision you can make. Talk to your doctor about the many resources available to help you succeed. 2. Rethink your relationship with alcohol. If you don't drink, don't start. If you do, be honest about how much. The general guideline is no more than 1 drink per day for women. Jean decided to limit her wine to weekends only. 3. Hydrate with water. Your brain is about 75% water. Even mild dehydration can disrupt your concentration and short-term memory. Swapping a soda or even a second glass of wine for water is a simple, powerful choice. To recap, habit 7. Actively avoid brain toxins by quitting smoking, limiting alcohol to true moderation, and staying hydrated. So, what happened to Jean? A year after committing to these 7 habits, she was a different person. The change wasn't just about what she'd stopped losing, it was about what she had gained. The names of her neighbors came easily. She could discuss a complex novel with her book club. She planned an entire trip for her and her husband, juggling all the details with a clarity she hadn't felt in 20 years. Her family noticed too. The fear was replaced with admiration. She wasn't fading. She was vibrant. She felt like a participant in her own life again. Her experience mirrors what so many others report, a feeling of regaining control and vitality. She felt sharper, more engaged, and more hopeful than ever. Jean's story is powerful proof that you have incredible control over your brain health. It's not about perfection, it's about starting. Let's quickly recap the 7 habits. 1. Move your body with purpose. 2. Fuel your brain with the mind. Diet. 3. Prioritize high-quality sleep. 4. Challenge your mind in new ways. 5. Nurture your social connections. 6. Manage your cardiovascular health. 7. Avoid brain toxins. Looking at this list might feel like a lot, but you don't have to do it all at once. The most important step is simply the first one. So I invite you to make a commitment to yourself right now. Pick just one of these 7 habits you can start this week. Is it a 15-minute daily walk? Adding a salad to your lunch? Calling a friend? Whatever it is, let us know in the comments below. Type 1 if you're committing to more movement. Type 2 if you're exploring the mind diet, and so on. Let's create a community of action and support right here. And if you have a personal experience with one of these habits, please share your story. It could be the motivation another viewer needs to begin their own journey. For those who want to dive deeper, we've put links to studies and other helpful resources in the description below. The old story that our minds must decline with age is being rewritten. It's being rewritten by science and by people like John every single day. These habits are your tools to become the author of your own story. This isn't about fearing old age. It's about embracing a future filled with clarity, independence, and joy. A future where you can cherish your memories and continue making new ones. You have the power to protect your brain. The time to start is now.